Okay, when you're ready.
Okay. All right. Welcome, Anna, to the X Talks.
Thank you.
How you doing?
Very good. Yeah.
It's the first
Yeah.
podcast you've been on before, or you done this?
Yeah, I've done this.
You've done this plenty of times. Yeah, cool.
Times.
Well, welcome. I just wanted to say thanks for coming along. Maybe do you want to give us a bit of an introduction to ExoVantage and what the company is, just to start things off?
Sure. So ExoVantage is a biotech company. So we manufacture and deploy wearable robotics and AI sensors, so exoskeletons and AI sensors for the global workforce. So basically, we've got two drivers. So basically increasing ROI, so productivity and safety, while reducing cost. So this is for the CFOs and the procurement people. And then on the other side is we're building what we call compassionate engineering. So meaning leveraging exoskeleton technology to reduce fatigue, strain, pain, claims, and all the impact that you can think of that logistics or manufacturing and so on would have on a person.
Yeah, no, interesting. I can't exactly remember how we managed to link up. I think was your CEO reached out to me
That's
on
right.
LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Was that like an automated thing that you guys have going, or do you actually reach out to?
It's a combination. So we use AI obviously to we leverage heavily AI to connect with the right partners and so on. But we also there is also the personal touch, right? So and that requires time. You can't just rush into connection on LinkedIn or looking at partners that will that we can grow with and complement our technologies.
Yeah. I think I received a message, and so did someone else in the business, and we messaged on our group chat, and then I had a look at the business, and I'd seen it pop up before, but hadn't really taken too much notice of it. You see things on social media. So it was quite cool to jump into to your website, learn a little bit more about the company. Obviously, we met up in the city,
That's right.
in Auckland City, and that was it was really cool to understand a little bit more about what you guys are doing. I guess I find it quite fascinating because you seem very motivated in business, and I'd love to dive a little bit deeper into that today. But what was it about ExoVantage? Where did it all start? What got you into this? And were you doing something that before that, where you saw the hole in the market, or did you kind of just fall into this business?
Yeah, it was certainly not funds driven, right? It wasn't building a corporation from a financial point of view. So I did have a landscaping practice which is still going on. So and where basically where my staff would be heavily impacted on building, so construction. And I've been running the practice for about 13-14 years. And even prior to that, I think about 120 months after that, I decided that the impact on our workforce was too great for them to have a good retirement, being able to pick up grandkids, and I finding new ways to how can we improve that. We already have equipment, diggers, and all sorts of equipment to be able to reduce the strain and pain on the team, but really looking at what technology I could use to build to give them a retirement. That was the first start of it. And I didn't have everyone on Earth at the time. It was really my 20 staff at the time.
Okay. So what business was this?
So it was a landscaping practice, so Branch Landscapes, which is still on.
Do you still own that?
Yes, that's right.
Oh, you've got it still?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So,
okay. Is it still 20 people? Or is it...
No. So after COVID, we reduced dramatically, and that allowed me to grow ExoVantage as well.
Okay.
But it came from that. So it came from a personal challenge, right? So where I really wanted to augment and support my staff, as opposed to, hey, this looks cool. So it was not technology driven at all. It was really a personal problem.
I think we see that quite a lot at the moment with, especially with AI. A lot of people seem to be creating, solutions or technology or products that don't necessarily have a good fit. And yeah, the way you look at that, the way you've gone into this business is because you've experienced the issue, you've seen the problem, and you've gone, okay, look, there's a business here, right?
Yeah, I think when the problem is personal, you look at all businesses, right? So when you identify that problem that you had for yourself, and then trying to leverage what is existing and then mapping out the future, right? So you would be thinking 30 years ahead. What does the future of work and safety looks like in 30 years? And then reverse engineering from that vision to what is actually possible, what is scalable, what makes a good market fit, because the timing is obviously important. And but the main driver is to have it as a calling. If you were just passionate about it, it would not be enough. It would have to be an obsession. Yeah. There is no way you can get away with it.
And why is that? Why?
I'm passionate about many things. Yeah. Do I spend 90 hours a week on them? I don't. So I don't get to be the best slalom water skier, for instance, right? I love slalom skiing. I could do it every day. I could be good at it, but I don't spend 90 hours a week on it.
Right.
So if you would have to pick whatever is your calling, and then understanding that for the 120 months ahead, this will become your oxygen. Yep. And there is no other ways, around it. Now we have obviously the help of AI that allows us to go faster, scale better, and healthier. Yep. But you still have to, solve different challenges and daily pivot the company many times over as to be relevant. Right. So it's you can't get away with just it's a passion or I want to have this side business going on. Yeah. You have to understand that 24/7 you will have this work-life integration wherever you go. The business goes with you, trying to be present for your kids as they know. They will say, "Can you be present?" Yeah. As you're looking at them, but you are obviously thinking about that business. So it is, and you have to manage yourself. You have to manage yourself in terms of not burning out. The sleeps, and you forget about sleeping the way you do. You're working 18 hours a week, a day. So it's and having that awareness about how you manage your food, as in fuel, sleep, and how you interact with your environment, because they're still around. Even though I spend a lot of time by myself, getting bored. That's the goal. So you can dream. That's the
so creating space for yourself
that is correct.
To think and
yes, hours. We're talking hours. Yeah. It takes a lot of time to get bored. To dream, right? So
where do you find the best place, or how do you do that? How do you find that time?
Well, I meditate 4 times a day, where I do these walking meditations. So same block, whether it is here or in the US. I do the same block where I don't have to think about what is happening on the road, or that on the footpath or whatever, and I would map out basically every single idea that I do have and try to kill that idea as fast as I can. Okay. That's the job. Yep. So I would do that. It's a sort of mental process, and I would kill that. Not worth your time, energy, sharing it with the team or anything like that. So you would go on like this, and it's sort of a venting out basically. Otherwise, I guess you would implode if you didn't have a way of venting out. Yes.
Interesting.
And everyone is different.
Yeah. You mentioned there that you have pivoted, at times.
Many times.
Many times.
We had to.
what were those pivots? And
So
why?
obviously when I started, I was using existing technologies where we saw, challenges to do with what we call user acceptance. So it's all to do with the workforce, the leadership team, but mainly the workforce and how they are using the technologies or embracing, exoskeletons and wearable sensors and other technologies. So I think that's the identifying what is relevant as early as possible and not wishful thinking is really important, right? So you would this model here is becoming obsolete. We got to do something about it. And so it doesn't mean pivoting the entire ecosystem. You would keep, obviously your products and some of your services might have to go, but you would keep evolving into being a distributor from a integrated solution provider to a manufacturer and so on and so on. Right. And then your processes, right? So you would look at how you are basically looking at your processes today, and will those processes be relevant in 12 months' time? Is it worth putting our time and energy in building an AI engine, as we are doing right now, from scratch to leverage that process? Okay. No. Okay, well, we're going to remove that component completely and then work on that part, which can be automated, right? So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Do you find like that those things come out of strategy or execution? Like, is that because you are reacting and you're just executing all the time and you're able to, figure things out really quickly? Or do you find that sitting back, once or twice a year and going, okay, this is the plan, this is how we're going to execute the strategy? Like, what do you think that relationship is between, that execution and strategy?
So there is a relationship there, but it's unbalanced. So the strategy would be, personally, to me, 20%, because again, you will be pivoting. So there is no need for you to spend a lot of time and energy mapping out, as we would, let's say, prior to COVID or something, right? So 36 months ago, mapping out 10 years ahead, because that is irrelevant. So you would be saying, for the next 6 months, we're going to be working on that model, and we're going to put all our energy into this model, knowing that will pivot. And execution is 80%. It is 80%. Yeah. So meaning you know that for the next 60 to 120 months, you will have to work a lot on that implementation to make it happen, because obviously great ideas, everyone has them. We want to save the planet, we want to address the ocean, we want to the trees and so on, we want to go to the moon, and everyone wants obviously these goals, right? But the execution is everything, right? So and again, there is nothing you can do. You've got to be working 90 hours on that, because it is so hard to do it. So hard. Every day you have thousands of things that wants to kill you and your business every day, right? So, and I'm not talking competition. I'm talking geopolitical, challenges and tariffs and change in government, and especially in the US, where it's quite significant. And so you have to navigate every single day those challenges. So, that execution part is obviously the core of what is about to happen. And then, when you pick, whatever you have decided to pick, you have to be fully committed to that. There is no plan B or plan C. This is a bad plan. Having plan Bs and plan Cs, right? So the plan A is the plan, and we're going to the moon, and this is the time it's going to take, and the resources that it's going to take, right? So I think so. Obviously both are important, but I think execution is everything.
Yeah. I think we constantly find that we'll put a strategy in place. Things just move so fast that sometimes you can't predict what's going to happen. But executing over, trying to plan everything out properly has always seemed to, work better for us. So yeah, it's quite interesting that you relate in that form. So yeah, I think moving a bit more into ExoVantage and the technology. You mentioned there that you guys are creating something around AI. Is that to assist the hardware? Is that a separate product?
Let me think what I can say. So yes, so we are building our own AI system. So it's a fully integrated system, servers, data centers, everything. So we don't want to use existing because we deal with data. We don't want to use existing systems like Meta or NVIDIA's systems and so on. So we believe that building our own AI engine that we are doing right now with our CTOs is going to be the path forward and allowing ExoVantage to be in full control of what we call predictive intelligence, so using data to predict and prevent injuries in a meaningful way. And I've spent 1,000 hours the last sort of year mapping that out and looking for partners and ways to deliver on what I had in my mind, what I really wanted. And we came to the conclusion that it wasn't available on the planet right now. So we're building this unique system that we hope many people will be able to leverage as well. So we have planned to help other companies to use that technology that we are going to be building for ourselves. But I spend so much time and energy trying to find an existing system that would allow ExoVantage to scale and to grow in that way that we had to build our own system. Yeah.
And that's going to, I guess, just assist the whole business and its current portfolio.
Yeah, it will be a fully integrated system. So we would be using all AI companions, whether it is Gemini or Perplexity or Claude or ChatGPT, so all of them right now will be working and talking to each other.
Yeah.
So they are challenging each other in the way that we are basically coding our own prompts. So we're coding in a way that the prompts make sense for the next at least 60 months, right? So we're trying to have this sort of 60 months being relevant in the next 60 months also.
Yeah.
And so it will be embedded in everything we do, end to end.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
So you utilize AI in your own workflows inside the business as well?
Yes, heavily.
Heavily, yeah.
Heavily,
Okay.
yeah.
So when did that start, and how did you initiate that change in the business? Because seems to be often what companies struggle with is how do we initiate AI? How do we get our staff familiar with the tools? How do we get them utilizing the tools? Yeah. What was your strategy there?
Yeah, it wasn't a strategy. It came as a result of many organic drivers, I would say. So meeting with my now CTO 12 months ago, where he's been using AI before it was even a buzzword, right? So we're talking 10 years. He's been heavily using AI, and then the frustration that I have with pace, right? So for me, it's being kind of neurodivergent. There's two times. It's either now or now. Yeah. there's nothing in between.
Yeah.
So it's a challenge. So I think the using AI is going to really help us to get the speed that personally I work on, and not getting frustrated by, if you tell me, oh, we're going to deliver something in 4 days, I'm struggling.
Yeah.
I'm really struggling.
Yeah.
I really want today.
You want it? Okay.
Yeah, I want it today. So, and I think we are building this gigantic foundation, AI foundation right now. So my CTO calls it garbage in, garbage out. So it's we are basically building this system where the data really makes sense to in a meaningful way, not just leveraging data for the sake of it, but really using that the AI and data in a way that we can get the results that we want faster, much faster.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. You mentioned there about like being neurodivergent. Do you mind if we talk about that for a little bit?
What about it?
I don't know. Just I probably share some similar traits to you,
right?
In that regard. But it's quite funny because I haven't really. I've known for a long time that I'm like that, and I just deal with it. It's the way I deal with it. But yeah, quite interesting to hear your perspective. Do you see it as, a benefit to you in your work stream and the way that you go about business?
Definitely an asset. If you manage it well, it's an asset in business because you can work 90 hours a week. I think if I wasn't, I would struggle. I would struggle. So it's not for everyone, So and using, my mind is constellation. I got these billions of planets and galaxies in my head, and I have to basically do my meditation sort of routine so that I don't implode somehow, and then. But I think the main challenge in terms of business, it's really good. I think it's a driver. I do think it's a driver when you leverage it really well. You are able to do way more. But from a relationship point of view, I think it's really difficult. It has an impact on your family, your children, and so on. I think my daughter would tell me, Astelia, she's 7. Can you be present? So I would look at her essentially and. But she knows, obviously. She knows that I'm not present. Yeah, and she has to remind me constantly, and then trying to be bored is really important. So, and again, that requires time. I think that is where when you are neurodivergent, whether you're autism or whatever it is, ADHD or whatever, you have an active mind, right? So you have an active mind, and being on a screen is really bad. I think it really does not allow you to dream, and it makes your mind more agitated. So taking time off and doing absolutely nothing is extremely hard for me, right? So, but I do that, and I would do that for hours every day, and I think it does help. But yeah, it's good for business, challenging for relationships, the relationship that you have with the world, with others. I suspect you would be labeled as being impatient, but they quote unquote normal people would say, well, they don't understand that time in my mind is not stretched, right? As in, it's everything has to be now. And there is an impact to that.
How does your team deal with that?
Badly.
Yeah.
Badly. Sometimes they don't even understand what I'm saying, right. Scott. Yeah. I don't think I'm aware of it, but he would tell me,
it's because you've played that out in your mind probably maybe 100 times, and you kind of see the pathway and how to do it, how to execute.
I know what the future looks like, and with great certainty, and I'm 100% convinced about it. And sometimes I would share it with my board, the idea, and then it might take a little time for them to come along and understand what it's often very contrarian thinking, right? It's very abstract, as in not thinking as what BAU, so business as usual. So with that, you have to surround yourself with people that have amazing governance, like our chairman Rob Sherlock, right? So amazing governance, making sure that we are doing the right thing the right way, not just this is an amazing idea. And then finances, right? So the cost around delivering this idea. This would be Greg Watts, right? So he's on our back with anything to do with finance. And then Scott, for instance, will be crossing the T's and dotting the I's very carefully. So you have to have a very thorough CFO and very thorough CEO who looks at the detail of things and not just the an overview of, this is a great idea, we committed to it, let's go, right? So I think you have to surround yourself, because yourself, being the way I am, I would not be able to do that by myself, obviously. So I'm the accelerator. That's all I have. I don't have any brakes. So
So and then you've got this team around you, right, to help with execution and
that's
financial planning.
That's right. That's right. Forecasting and mapping out, is that a good idea for everyone? Do we see the future here?
Wow, that's crazy. It sounds like a very well executed business. I think you need people that push and people that push back in a business structure, right?
Yes, absolutely. And it's not quite about accelerator brake. It's not quite that. It's about being thorough on governance and operations excellence and cash flow, right? It has
tricky,
very
right?
little meaning in my mind, because I work about I'm always 50 years ahead. So the day-to-day reality needs to be addressed and thoroughly executed as well. And you need to have those checkpoints. You can't just go on. This is a great idea. Let's go.
Yeah, cash flow is the biggest pain for me as well. Trying to push the business. It would be nice sometimes just to have a big injection of money where you could go, but that comes at a sacrifice, right?
Yeah, I believe that we are self-funded, and we might go into getting some funds right now as we need to scale fast and so on. But we've tried to be as lean and flexible as long as we could. I believe that having you got to stay an entrepreneur and not becoming a businessman, right? So where the entrepreneur is building a corporation out of nothing, and he's always struggling with resources, finance and people and so on and so on. And that is the job of the entrepreneur. And if you were a businessman, you would be a manager, essentially. So managing funds, managing your resources and so on, right? So, and obviously you have new visions and what it's about to happen. But I think staying entrepreneurial, lean and flexible as long as you can will make you hungry and struggling. You got to be struggling for you to have the best output. If you raise, you have you $10 million, and you might become complacent, unless you have someone sort of making everyone very accountable daily. I feel that it makes you complacent, and for you to stay hungry and looking at new ways. I am dying today, and having zero on the account, ideally. When
your back's against the wall, right? And you perform to get yourself out of that situation.
That's right.
Yeah, we definitely felt that a lot in our business. Back up against the wall, and you always drive to get out of it, right? You keep pushing. Yeah, it's that. It's kind of being forced into I guess execution mode and making sure you get things done and get that next big sale. And yeah, what you've obviously got a C-suite. Was that always in place? Did you get to a point where you were like, okay, we need the structure? Like, what was the?
When I founded the company, I had been working 4,000 hours by myself, right? So we were the first exoskeleton company in New Zealand. We're still the first one, and very much ANZ, right? So as in manufacturing company, and we, unlike let's say Elon Musk with humanoid robots and Jensen Huang, with NVIDIA and so on. So they're building humanoid robots, but they have a huge exposure, right? So they have global exposure. So I didn't have that. So when I started ExoVantage, I needed to create and understand, was that a business? Was that just a hobby? So, and that takes time because there is nothing there. There is no benchmark. There is nothing to compare with. So being the first mover at scale is very difficult. And I had to do that. So, and then after that period of sort of 4,000 hours kind of by myself, really hard, being in a plane 3 times a week and so on, I had met my chairman kind of organically, and I pitched him. And he saw the future with the technology. They had obviously some challenges, but he saw that, and he kept on touching base every month. Are you ready? Are you ready? And I would say, Rob, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. And then at some point, I was ready. And I called him, and then from there we decided to have other. Like Greg Watts came along, and then Scott came along, and others we had on the board came along to basically go faster and wiser. So I tend to be the youngest and the dumbest of the company. That's I make sure that it happens that way. That because I would obviously want to leverage the wisdom and the governance of others that have been through many other businesses, and that will give you this advantage, I guess, if you were to get that wisdom and that speed to market that you want to have, in all sorts, contracts and people and processes and so on. So surrounding yourself as early as you can is definitely key. But there is a moment where if you're doing something new, right? So which I had to do. There is a moment where you are ready for that phase. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And you guys just obviously took that, and now you're pushing hard in the industry.
That's right.
So what's next? Is that growth into other countries?
So North America is our largest market, especially the DoD or the DOW, so the Department of War now under Donald Trump. And aerospace and defense is one of our largest industry. We have 12 verticals. So from aerospace, defense, manufacturing, logistics, retail, construction, the primary industries like forestry, dairy, and so on, right? So there's 12 of them. But there is definitely 4 basically drivers would be manufacturing, logistics, aerospace and defense, and construction are the biggest industries for us to capture ANZ and in North America, because obviously the shortage of staff. So everyone wants talents. We have such a shortage of staff globally. It's becoming such an issue. So this is where automation and exoskeletons will go on, and other technologies that we're building will go on for, I believe personally, 120 months before you can even think about, humanoid robots taking over completely. Working in the dark, no lights, just robots, building robots essentially, and all products and other products. But It will take 120 months, and it's a sort of a progressive way. It will not happen over time for this to happen. While the ROI is really good when you look at those technologies, you still have to, address your demographic, your boomers, Gen Xers, millennials, and Gen Zs, right? So, and with the shift of demographic, we believe that the technology is going to be even more relevant, right? So, yes, as we have, Gen Zs and millennials now on the floor in a factory, and where they are still, the best AI, right? In the way of that person processing this information and delivering this task. Today is definitely humans are the core of the company. Yeah,
they always will be, right? I think people seem to forget that that's always going to be the case.
Because the world is scaling. It's if we were plateaued and we were just replacing, and you would end up with a displacement of demographic. But we, every manufacturing plant we go to, and I go to thousands of them every year. They are all scaling, and they're all desperate of people.
They've all got people. That same problem, right?
Yes.
I don't think people always say to us, but we're taking jobs from manufacturing, or warehousing. But I think when you speak to the people that are running those businesses, and you speak to the people on the floor in those businesses, it's the same thing. We can't get staff members. We're struggling to keep staff members. People don't want to do these jobs. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
So do you think that the demographics of those people you're talking about, there's obviously pushback there for automation and AI. Is that mostly from baby boomers and millennials rather than I guess the Gen Z? Have you seen
so there is a change in mindset because a millennial person doesn't think even like a Gen X like myself, right? So we are still human driven, us face to face and looking for human connections. Millennials tend to purchase any products or services after going on AI companions, whether it is Claude or ChatGPT and so on, and do their own research and then make that purchasing decision. And as they are, the millennials are now sort of 40, they are moving into C-suite roles. We will see this change in compare a boomer CFO to a millennial CFO. You will see that the purchasing decisions are different. So from the interaction that you have with your customers, which is for me more face to face than compared to a millennial and coming very quickly a Gen Z person. So and I think this change will affect everything we do, right? So because obviously it will not be just the top of the leadership team, but also the floor, right? So and how if you look at a millennial today, they are thinking about yoga and traveling the world and eating salads, not necessarily breaking my back and it's part of the job. And I understand that it's part of right? So there is this change of mindset, and the challenge we have globally is the staff turnover, right? So the company will invest time and energy and funds into hiring this person, training this person, and that person would leave after 2 months, faster, way faster. We're talking months, right? In scaffolding, right? You put a young person on scaffolding. This is very impactful, and so the technology is really allowing staff engagement, attraction, and retention, which is one of the key KPIs of many corporations, whether it is ANZ or in North America.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, that's amazing. I love seeing businesses that are using that to build products and services. And yeah, even though the general population doesn't see it, we know that the problem's there and it exists. And it's just time will play out and do its thing, and we'll still be here building our businesses.
That's right.
But yeah, I think it's been a fantastic conversation. I'd love
Thank you very
to
much.
go for a little bit longer, but we've almost run out of time. So, anything else you wanna ask me, or you've got any last words to
Sure.
say?
Tell us how we're going to complement your business.
Yeah, well, for me, I guess when I saw your technology, like for AutomateX, it's all about putting in systems that make our companies more efficient, right? And one thing that we realize is that New Zealand and Australia especially are very inefficient, right? We are one of the lowest in efficiency in the OECD countries. And we believe that there's a huge amount of efficiency gain to be made, especially in that warehousing space, right? And automation is one of those things that can help you get there, right? Even if you have like poor operations and software, generally when the automation comes in, like there's a lot of initiatives to improve everything, right? Because now you've got this high-level system which is giving you the data and all this sort of stuff. So anything that complements us being able to help that is a win for us. And we're not always just taking jobs. Often it's about like how do we make the human element better? So for us it's like rather than a warehouse worker going up and down aisles all day in a cold, hot warehouse, we're able to make sure that picker is now in a workstation. They're comfortable. They've got a fan or a heater. That they're not bending over like they would be in a warehouse. And then I guess the advantage of your products is like, okay, well now we can actually provide something else to that person. So yes, there's automation, but like what else can we do to assist them and make them comfortable? And so the exoskeleton, is it? What's the one I wore?
The ExoLift.
The ExoLift, yeah, like is a great example, right? We've all experienced that being at that pick station. It's still a lot of bending over for totes and putting them on conveyors and products and whatnot. So something like that, we just see like very complementary. That's not to go into all the other product ranges you have because, yeah, sometimes our clients don't want to automate. It's too expensive. They don't have the capital. There's other options for them, right? It's not always about automating. It's about what's going to fit best for their business. And yeah, I think your products have a place and a fit in with what we're doing, both in automated systems and manual systems. So
I think it's both. Actually, I think it's both that it's not one solution is going to solve every single problem.
Correct.
So it's not about mechanical lifts and hoists and vacuums and in a logistic facility, but it's the combination of realizing that yes, your workforce is made of people and you want to retain them. So yes, empowering, augmenting, and supporting them is key. Yep. And then how you can solve the other problems with automation, right? So we've seen so many times. I've seen so many times, staff where I'm thinking, that task should be really automated, and this person should be relocated where she is valued, and not going home every day broken. And that's it can't be, right? We are it can't be. We are beautiful people, beautiful humans. So we want to make sure that we are empowering, augmenting and supporting people as much as possible.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I mean, so we're looking forward to to that journey. Like, obviously, there's a lot I can relate to you on, and yeah, it'd be great to stay in touch on that side of things as we go along. So, yeah, appreciate your time.
Thank you, Jordan.
Yeah, thanks very much. And
very much.
We'll hopefully have maybe another podcast
yes,
together one day.
Absolutely. So, as we pivot.
yeah.
Right.
As we pivot.
More to say.
Yeah. So thanks again, Arnaud.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Cut. Nice.